There are reports on the renewed Hope economic plan to fast-track a $1 trillion economy. We'll be understanding some of the details. And tonight, one man who says, my ambition is not as important as the interests of my party and the nation. Senator Bala Mohammed was jettisoning the 2027 presidential agenda. Will be talking to us tonight on the program. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I am Sean Kimale here in Abuja. Let's tell you the outcome of today's National Economic Council meeting, where they've unveiled the framework for the renewed Hope Development Plan 2026 to 2030, aimed at consolidating Nigeria's reform agenda and actualize the $1 trillion economy target of the administration of President Bala Tinubu. This was part of the resolutions reached at a 151st meeting of the council chaired by the Vice President Kashim Shettima at the presidential villa earlier today. Take a listen to some of the outcomes of that meeting.
The renewed Hope Plan 2026 to 2030 will serve as a bridge between current reform momentum and the long-term aspirations of Nigeria's Agenda 2050. It is envisaged that the preparation of the new plan will commence this month so that it can be completed on time for Mr. President to launch it before the end of the year. This will enable federal, state, and local government, among other users, to make use of it in ensuring that their programs reflect the consensus reached. This development, since this is a national development plan, the process of developing it will be participatory, involving the three tiers and arms of government, organized private sector, political parties, civil society, and faith-based organizations, opinion leaders, and traditional institutions.
That's the Minister of Budget and National Planning. But let's we look at a lot of issues. And when Governor Bala Mohammed speaks with us tonight, we'll be getting to know what was working on his mind. He's the governor of Bauchi State and the chair of the PDP Governors Forum. But before we get talking with him, let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
Nigerian governors have pledged to collaborate with the federal government to grow the country's tourism and creative economy through policies that protect intellectual properties, build on tourism infrastructure, and co-creating festivals. The resolution was reached after the forum received briefing from the Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism, and Creative Economy in Abuja. The governor's decision is informed by the prospect presented by the ministry on the strategic roadmap to grow the sector to a $100 billion economy by the year 2030.
Key initiatives include $200 million Creative Economy Development Fund, the $1 billion Creative and Tourism Infrastructure Corporation, and projects such as the Lagos Arena, Abuja Creative City, and renewed Hope Cultural Villages.
And Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State has reiterated his administration's dedication to addressing insecurity in the state. The governor says criminality, political sponsorship, and the agitation for Biafra state are the current challenges facing the state. He said this while speaking to journalists after delivering the lecture on the 6th General Assembly of Abuja Archdiocese.
We have recorded remarkable improvement. Like I told you, there are two types of there are two principal factors driving the insecurity in Imo State. One is won by those who are genuinely agitating for their Biafran interests. And the other one is criminality and the political sponsorship.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, is urging stronger global collaboration to tackle what he describes as Africa's fast-evolving security threats. Speaking at the Interpol African Regional Conference in Cape Town, the IGP warned that cattle rustling, once dismissed as a local menace, has now become a major criminal enterprise, fueling terrorism and cross-border crime. He links the scourge to terrorism financing and even chemical and biological threats, stressing that proceeds from livestock theft are being used to fund explosives and other dangerous operations. Egbetokun outlined 6 key strategies, from intelligence sharing to livestock market reforms, and held high-level meetings with Interpol and Brazilian security officials to expand Nigeria's international policing partnerships.
West Africa cannot confront terrorism in isolation. The whole of continent and the whole of the world approach is necessary to stop cross-border grazing and routes, regulate regional livestock trade, protect Africa from becoming a soft target for CBRN proliferation.
The Minister of Regional Development, Mr. Abubakar Momo, has assured that President Bala Tinubu remains committed to the promotion of inclusive growth of all regions in the country. Speaking at the official inauguration of 52 members of the newly constituted Regional Development Commissions in the South-South, South-West and North-Central zones of Nigeria, Mr. Momo charged the board to approach the task with vision and bring their expertise to bear.
While the government has made significant financial commitments to the operations of these commissions, we must emphasize that financial prudence, transparency, and accountability will be non-negotiable.
There you have it, your political roundup stories, and there you have been served. Now, there was a man who said, my ambition is not important. My party and my nation is important. And those were his words when he says that he's moved on from the 2027 presidential election. Governor Bala Mohammed of the PDP, he's the chair of the PDP Governors Forum, he's gone back home after the neck of the party decided to zone the presidential ticket of the People's Democratic Party to the south. Senator Bala Mohammed is live for us on the program virtually from Bauchi. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, Shaun, for the opportunity.
What was going on your mind? Because you, was it that you were overpowered amongst others in that meeting? Because your influence as the chair of the Governors Forum, one will imagine that the party for the first time is zoning the presidential ticket, and now to the south. I thought you were one of those who have fought to throw it open as you did in 2023.
Yes. Shaun, life is always a learning process. When we did in 2023, it was not a pleasant experience, and that was why we lost the election. And I discovered, to my surprise, that presidency is a consensus phenomenon. It's something that people come together. You cannot impose yourself on anybody or any group. In spite of my leadership position, I am leading a group of equals. And of course, we have to change the trajectory of leadership recruitment in a manner that we build consensus, create unity, and set aside our personal interests in a manner that we can give the Nigerian people a new political space that brings people that are adequately brought together in a manner that we take decision that will give leadership to somebody who knows that leadership is just like an extension, like a delegation. And of course, when my party decided that we would zone this to the south, I had no qualms because I knew it is for the common good and it is not about our personal interest, since we knew we learned our lesson from the mistake we made in the past.
So you wanted to be president. You've had you've been nursing this ambition. That's a fact, isn't it?
Yes.
At what point did you now jettison that idea?
I jettisoned that idea from the point we decided to said that all of us are equal, and we have so many eminently qualified people who are not even opportune to be within the ring of our group, that is a group of governors, people outside who are not even governors, who are bureaucrats and technocrats, and they may have more experience and knowledge of leadership. And so we should leave this thing open. And by the time we took the session, we must go by it. But whoever emerges should know that he is doing it on our behalf. That's why I said it is a delegation of responsibility of people of like minds, and our party should do something different to show that we are different from the rest. Not a party that brings people who are just grandstanding and who feel that they are larger than life, that it is even a favor for them to lead, that it is their own maternal or whatever rights for them to continue to lead in the country, where we have 250 million people. We have agitated youths who are very knowledgeable and they know global best practice. They are driven by knowledge, experience, and of course, global best practice. So we decided as governors at this time and epoch to change the trajectory of leadership recruitment in a manner that we build consensus around us and open the space for the best to emerge. And of course, we knew that this is the time when a Southerner is a president, and of course he is just gone for 4 years, and of course the second tenure would be assumed to be his. So if we are contesting, we needed somebody very strong or stronger than him from the South to give him a fight for his life, because the government at the day is not working very well. And so we have to seize the opportunity to make sure that we provide or present a credible candidate that is marketable. Already the situation is germane for us to take over power, and we need to navigate very cautiously and intelligently.
Confirm for us, Governor Mohammed, tonight. We understand that the game plan is very clear, that one of your own and yourself are the pair your party is putting forward, that Seyi Makinde is the presidential candidate, while Bala Mohammed is the vice presidential candidate, and that is the game plan.
No,
is that what you are planning?
No, that's not what we are planning. You see, Seyi, I have learned this thing because I have worked closely with the president when I was the minister of FCT. When we came back in 2011 and formed a government, the president must be given opportunity to choose his vice. I am not withdrawing because I want to prepare myself for vice presidency. Of course, if it is within the senses of judgment of our party leaders and the presidential candidate to choose me, I'm ready. But certainly, if I am not given, I have said it to the public today, I'm ready to give whoever the party or the presidential candidate would emerge from the South to bring somebody if he is better than me. The issue is to win election. Who is acceptable in the North? Who has really stepped out and the North know him in such a manner that he will represent them? So if there are better candidates, of course, there are so many positions in the presidency. We are changing the narrative in a manner that we don't want to be like those we are accusing who are always presenting themselves, sometimes even becoming postural in their quest for self-actualization in terms of looking for opportunity to step out as presidential candidate. I am not one of those, but certainly if Seyi or any other person emerges, I will give my maximum support for the person to become president. But me and Seyi, we have never discussed the issue of pairing, but we have mentioned the issue of taking over power by the grace of God so that we can give Nigerians the opportunity of good governance in 2027 and upward.
I mean, I'm talking to a second-time governor, a former federal lawmaker, a former minister. So I'm talking to a politician who knows his onions, isn't it? And but what do you think about that pairing? For those who are already flying that kite in your party, who says it's Seyi Makinde Bala Mohammed ticket for 2027 for PDP. For a moment, how do you think that could work? Do you think that can match a Bala Tinubu Kashim Shettima ticket?
It can match it even better, because to me, it depends on what Nigerians want. If they want the continuation of this clueless administration, then it is the choice of Nigerians. But certainly they have seen the pedigree, the capacity of Shea and my humble self, both at the subnational level and what we are doing to ensure that we ease the tension within the system in terms of mode of emergence. And of course, it is not only Shea that is there. There are so many people that may even come up. And there are so many people that can be good vice president. What we are saying that this time around, if Nigerians are selling this option, they should be given the opportunity. But of course, there are so many options that maybe you don't want to mention, and I don't want to mention that people are talking in terms of pairing. But it is all these narratives that will go into the consciousness or the senses of judgment of our party people to say, or even the presidential candidate when he emerges, that this is the party. What I want to say, we have not absolutely chosen or narrowed down on any person. Everybody should know that PDP is open. It's open in a manner that it is for the Southerners to bring somebody. And I said with all humility, we don't want to make the mistake of the APC. We need a Christian from the South to emerge as a presidential candidate so that he will lead the majority of Christian Southerners to come and pick a majority Muslim vice president in the North, not to put ourselves in a cul-de-sac the way Amana APC did in 2023, where they picked a minority from the North, from the South, and they had to take a majority person from the North, which brought the issue of North-North Muslim ticket, which did not take into cognizance our diversity and our different people's feelings, because we have not really reached a stage where we don't take consideration of all these factors.
I understand that it was at the caucus, the governors' caucus meeting, the governors' forum meeting, that the idea of zoning to the South first emerged from. It was the idea of the governors, isn't it?
It was the ideas of the governors because we have always been networking, we have been meeting, not even from there, from the meetings we have been having in terms of peer review mechanism. We came from Zamfara, and from Zamfara we discussed extensively the state of the nation and the need to close rank and to do things without, so that we, as a position, will not give opportunity for the main party with the shenanigans and the open style of leadership of the current administration, where they don't really accommodate opposition. We will not even give them the opportunity to rout us. So the better we come together and pick somebody within ourselves or outside that will do it. He is under the notice that if he is not the one, definitely he will give the way. And he has been very remarkable in terms of teamwork that we have established as governors, the small number that we are. And you can see most of us are on the same page.
The Zamfara agenda, which now culminated into the ratification of the NEC meeting, the Southern, and that's the first time in the history of the PDP that the party will microzone the presidential ticket. And you look at it, Governor Mohammed, there are those who, and that has thrown up a few names. For example, former President Goodluck Jonathan. And there are those who are warning your party that if you dare that or if you try it, you are putting and pushing yourself in a very tough legal constitutional conundrum. Is your party actively thinking of bringing back Goodluck Jonathan, considering the Section 137(3) of the Constitution and the amendment to the Constitution has signed into law by President Muhammad Buhari? Maybe a lot of people are not aware of that alteration to the Constitution.
Yes, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm a politician. And I know that we are looking for people with pedigree, people that are loved. President Jonathan had been blackmailed by all these parsimonies, those information that he was this and that, and at the end of the day today, he is the most celebrated politician today. And of course, in Nigeria, having seen that at least during his time, most of the issues that have to do with improvement of the quality of life of Nigerians have been very good and excellent compared to what is today. And of course, all those issues that he was accused of, they were mere just political blackmail. And of course, even at that time, he was going for what is presumed to be third term, because he would have been sworn in thrice if he had won. And so the court gave judgment on that issue that he has been cleared to run. And clearly he ran and lost. And so whatever amendment that is coming thereafter, to us, to me as a layman and a politician, it will not have retrospective effect, because the law is not an us. People should not think that laws are just provided to shut somebody from exercising his or her universal suffrage, especially when there is an existing judgment on that issue. But this should be left to the court. I don't think the political opportunists on the other side should use this to stop somebody who is better in terms of candidacy, in terms of pedigree, from running. But certainly, President Jonathan is one of the candidates we are thinking, if he joins us and comes and opens his mind to run, and even other people like Governor Obi, because if he decides to come to a better platform where there is no encumbrances, he will be given the opportunity too. There are others.
Are you courting him? Are you courting Obi?
Am I what?
Are you governors of the PDP courting him? Are you asking him to come? Are you talking to him actively? Is that conversation active?
No, we are. Yes, we are. But certainly he has not. That is President Jonathan. He's not the only person.
No, I'm talking about Peter Obi now. Peter Obi, are you talking
to him? Have you not seen him in Bauchi several times? Have you not seen him with me? He's my brother, my friend. And of course, he's one of the most celebrated politicians too. And of course, you see him within the coalition or no coalition. Definitely we are not sleeping. Only that we don't make noise. There are so many politicians. I even had a session with Governor Amechi. I have not been sleeping. I have to make sure I create a closing of rank drive, for people to come and have.
So there's a possibility of Amechi returning to the PDP?
Well, he is free to, if he wants to come back.
But when you spoke, Governor, to Peter Obi, did he agree to return to PDP?
These are some of the decisions that are left to Peter Obi, not to me. But I have discussed with him, and I told him the PDP is open to all those celebrated politicians who can come and add value to our presidential drive or ambition in 2027. Definitely, I spoke to all of them. So many people that I will not even mention here. But I've just mentioned the key people that I have spoken on behalf of the governors and myself, that they should. I have spoken to President Jonathan. I was the first person to say that if he runs, I will not run. Maybe he's one of the reasons why I said we should just go and sleep. Maybe it's Sheyi Makinde. So definitely, we have spoken to so many people. But Sheyi is even within us. And you have not heard him saying it is a matter of life and death for him to run. So we are free to look for people who will come and add value and present themselves if they so wish. I have spoken to them, and I confirm to you, I have spoken to those people and have given them the leverage to take a decision.
Governor Mohammed, just a quick one, right? Reports indicates that the zoning decision has now split a lot of opinions and interests in some parts of the northern region of the country. As governor of the northern state and leader of the PDP governors, what bridge building process are you engaging with aggrieved northern caucuses or voices who believe that shutting out northerners in the PDP is going to be a big problem for your party in 2027?
No, this is a figment of imagination. Yes, definitely there are even my supporters who didn't like the way I have given up. But they have to learn that this is a way of live and let live. We have to respect each other. And we want a time when Nigeria will mature to a level where only merit will determine who will become a president, not the issue of tribe or regionalism. But certainly, as you said, you are right, Sean, there are people within my camp that are saying, why should you do that? And I'm taking time to advise, you have not seen it cause any disruptions. Of course, it is something that is on the, in the public space. But I believe it is manageable. I have seen some few individuals from FCT talking about it.
I have seen some few people from the Northwest and the numerous calls that I got. Bala, why should you do this? You didn't consult us. I said, well, decisions should be taken if you say we are leaders. We are doing it in good faith. And because of the fidelity, the sincerity of it, people are bound to agree that we are doing it in good faith. And you know, the North is a region that is very politically sensitive. And they can easily know why we are doing this, and because of the trust that we have between us as emerging leaders and those people. And they know that at least we have contributed so much to coming. We are able to back out. Definitely, we mean well.
Yeah, quick one. We need to go on our first break. With this zoning arrangement, is your party thinking that the candidate of the party in PDP, should they win the election, we only serve one term? Is that the arrangement?
No. We are going to determine this later when a caucus of the party discuss. But there are some of the calculations. All these issues, I think, Shehu, we should begin to put them aside. At what point would you say, Shehu, that President Tinubu benefited you personally as a Yoruba man? At what point would I say President Buhari of good memory benefited me as a person from the North? We should begin to de-emphasize all these issues. What is absent in Nigeria is good governance. Somebody that will come and take us on this collective journey that we can transcend all these challenges of insecurity, good governance, and management of the economy. Somebody that will come with the right knowledge, with justice and equity. But certainly we are going to discuss this because there are all those issues that must put to rest, and people should be allowed to avoid their opinion. To me, it does not matter if we get a good person. If it is good luck, Jonathan, definitely he is not going to run for second term. If it is Sheyi or Obi, to me, they have all the right to run. But if they agree, in order, the way I have considered, to consider they are going to run for one term, that would be excellent. That will make the people, the doubting Thomases, or those who believe in the regional hegemony or regional time frame, to be reassured and to give in. But certainly it is something that is going to be within our collective decision at the caucus.
All right, give me a moment, Governor Bala Mohammed. We'll go on a break, but when we come back, a few more questions for you in relation to the internal politics of your party, the state of the nation, and the way forward. But after our conversation with Senator Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State, and the chair of the PDP Governors Forum, I will also be speaking on a very big question here, the leadership question in Nigeria. Linus Okore will be joining me afterwards. He's a leadership consultant. How can Nigeria get it right in terms of leadership? Join us again, everyone. Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with us. Senator Bala Mohammed is the governor of Bauchi State and the chair of the PDP Governors Forum. Thanks so much, Your Excellency, for your time tonight on the program.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon.
So I was going to also ask you, in the light of what is going on, and for me, your party has faced a lot of internal wrangling. And when we wonder, you on one hand is the leader of the party because now you lost Vice President Atiku Abubakar. He's dumped your party. There hasn't been an active participation of Goodluck Jonathan, former president. Now Madi Sambo has dumped your party. So it gave you a lot of burden to become an unwritten leader in the face of the PDP. Because Mr. Umar Damagum has also received a lot of criticism. But on the other hand, he's Mr. Yensam Wike, whom a lot of people think maybe you guys are not really cool like that. Have you resolved your differences? Or how do you hope that you want to work together? Because Mr. Wike says he's still a member of the PDP.
Yes. Membership of the party is at the discretion of the member. And of course, maybe the level of participation of the member will be determined by the activities he does, his loyalty, his discipline, and his contribution. you don't expect a former president to be an active member because he has become a statesman, unless he wants to come back to active politics. Normally, when they become president, former president, they go back to and become fathers of the nation, and that's what President Goodluck is. And for the Vice President, Namadi Sambo, he's still an active member of the party because he has denounced the fact that he has left, and he's also a father of the party. As for His Excellency, the Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, he has the discretion to leave, and some of those leadership problems was what drove him out. And of course, you can see we are trying to navigate to ensure that, yes, there were issues, but certainly we will not run away and leave the problems. And where he has even gone, there are more problems for him. And so, of course, wherever you go in politics in Nigeria, you will meet problems, and all you need to do is to show leadership and solve the problems. With regard to our relationship with Wike, he was a good friend of mine. And of course, there was a time we had a TikTok in terms of altercations, but have been spoken to by our leaders of the party to stop all this. And he too has been spoken to as a former governor and a leader of the party. There was no need. Yes, it is managing a very difficult situation where somebody is somewhere serving somebody that we want to remove and at the same time being a member. But this is what makes us strong, to manage such sensibilities and perception, issues of discipline or indiscipline, confirmation that loyalty has shifted here and there. It is the dynamism of participatory politics that we are managing. And we decided to shut down, just like the Chinese have done in their Mandarin spirit, to solve their problems, and they came out strong. And that's what we are doing as PDP. No need for us to be washing our dirty linings in the public. The best thing is for us to go back and make sure behind the scene we solve our problems, rather than playing to the gallery the way and manner the party in power would want us. So definitely, I don't have any much problem with Wike. The only thing is that our closeness has reduced, and we are no longer friends that we were before, because he believes in one thing and I don't believe in what he believes in, and maybe he doesn't believe in what I'm doing. But as a leader of the party, being the chairman of the Governors Forum, it has always been like that. We contribute to the day-to-day running of the party, and we look at the challenges. The same thing with Damagum, because he came as acting and there was a vacuum, and of course, issues that had to do with the responsibility or the right of the North Central to produce the next person as per our constitution and the court judgment. We believe in the rule of law. The Damagun gets an injunction, a court judgment that he should act, and he has acted. And you can see voluntarily all the members of the National Working Committee agree to go at the end of their tenure. That is auspicious. We respect them. We appreciate them. And they conducted congresses in so many state chapters without any rancor. Right. And this problem did not degenerate to our state chapters. That is also a mark of capacity by the National Working Committee and some of us. Right. So definitely within the party.
Quickly, let me ask you, in all of this, do you think that whatever that happened a few days ago has healed your party, or you have a lot of healing to do? Because there are those who say what you have done is you have served in the hands of Bala Tinubu and the APC, and it's just going to be an easy ride for APC and Bala Tinubu to win the election, even in larger proportion compared to 2023. In fact, there are those who have even accused some of you as working for Bala Tinubu and the APC.
Well, when you have a member like Wike working for Tinubu, definitely they are going to say this, because these are realities on the ground. Well, some of us as leaders, you have heard us loud and clear, we are not working for Tinubu, and of course, we will not work for Tinubu. And the way and manner we are going, as you ask the second leg of the question, that we still have a lot of work to do. And we are not sleeping. We are having sleepless nights because there are boo-boo traps. The current party or government in power, they are only politicking, they are not governing. From day one, we have 2 years to election, we are seeing billboards abusing INEC guidelines and even the Constitution. Everything is about soliciting for defection here and there, and of course, creating problems indirectly in other parties. So we are aware of all this, and of course, and we are using our own sense. We will not divulge to the public what we are doing, but we are completely conscious of our challenges. And as you ask, we are not there, it's not there to Uhuru, because we have issues here and there. Even after our convention, how do we make sure that this tinge of anti-democratic tendencies that the government is exhibiting in terms of intolerance to opposition has not culminated into, complete, flagrant disregard for constitution, for constitutional provision, and so on and so forth. So we are looking forward to how INEC is going to be reconstituted, whether there will be reform or no reform, and then we know what to do. Certainly, we are not going to take the laws into our hands, but we will use sense and tact to ensure that we navigate very well.
Thanks so much, Senator Bala Mohammed, Governor of Bauchi State and the Chairman of the PDP Governors Forum. It was a pleasure talking to you again. Thanks so much indeed.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure.
I appreciate it. So let's switch gears, everyone. We speak tonight with a renowned leadership consultant, author, and the founder of the Guardians of the Nation International to interrogate the urgent questions of leadership in Nigeria. Why the nation continues to grapple with deficits in governance, how the character and vision of leaders shape development outcomes, and what it will take to nurture a new generation of transformational leaders. Linus Okore is live for us, President of GOTME. Thanks so much indeed for joining us tonight.
I'm actually glad to be here today.
It's a pleasure. In your unique, iconic red tie. Give us an understanding. And you know that each time I get to speak to you, to plead with you to come on this program, is about leadership, development, building a new generation of Nigerian leaders, awakening the minds of those who are young at heart and those who are young indeed. There is a gap, a generational gap. It does look to me that the young people of this country, the Gen Zs, I'm very worried about the orientation. It doesn't look like it looks like they're not interested about the development of the future of this country. They're not interested about the history of this country. They're not even interested about the present in this country. They're interested in what they are interested in. And that's a major problem. What do you think is missing? Is it bad governance? Is it a leadership problem? Or is it just a fundamental issue with that generation?
So it will interest you to know that a couple of years ago, I had a chance of meeting the first professor of leadership in the world, Professor John Adair, who has written over 80 books on the subject matter. And at that point in time, he was actually visiting Nigeria on my invitation. And one of the first things he said, Linus, do you know that the greatest need for Nigeria and the continent of Africa is to groom leaders, good leaders, and leaders for good. There's deficit of leadership capital, and the need to groom good leaders and leaders for good. So what it means is that in a nation like this, there must be investment in leadership capital. First of all, there has to be an understanding of what this leadership is about. When you talk about leadership, sometimes people just mention political leadership as if that is just
a type of leadership.
It's just one element of leadership. When we talk about leadership, we will have to bring it to Dr. Miles Monroe's introduction and definition of leadership. He said, leadership is the ability to influence, motivate, guide a group of people towards a particular direction via inspiration, not intimidation or manipulation. Which means a leader is somebody who has the capacity to inspire, to drive a group of people. It could be business, it could be politics, it could be family, it could be a non-profit, it could be a university system, it could be everywhere. So what we're seeing today is the fact that because there is very little investment in leadership development, so you see that from the four walls of our universities to the four walls of our businesses to the different systems that we have, you could see a cry for transformational leadership to actually emerge. So because of the deficit of transformational leadership capital in our system, it has produced such a culture that is self-seeking, a culture that does not serve public, a culture that does not delay gratification, a culture that does not build for the future, a culture that does not generate sustainability. What it means is that you have a culture that is interested in self-promotion, self-aggrandizement, and all of that. Because of the deficit of this leadership capital has produced lack of patriotism, lack of all of these things. So it's all over the system. So we need a critical mass of people to begin to understand the true meaning of leadership.
Okay, so let me ask you a quick question. How do I identify a good leader when I see one?
So the moment you see a good leader, first thing you see is that the leader is visionary. The leader is visionary. The leader is working with teams. I mean, he transfers the vision to his team, and he's interested in the common good, which means the leader is not interested in self. Self-interest dies when leadership shows up. So what leadership is about is the moment you see a leader, you see selflessness. You see commitment for public good, for the common good. You remember Simon Sinek wrote a book and titled it Leaders Eat Last. Leaders Eat Last, which means the leader operates like the principle of the motherhood. The mother, first of all, feeds the children, right? That's what leadership is all about.
In Nigeria, the leaders drive the finest,
absolutely,
wears the finest,
absolutely,
live the finest, and the poorest of the poor leave the poorest.
Absolutely, because if the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. Majority of the people who are in public space, in business space, are thinking the Machiavellian principle of self-preservation first. And no nation of the world can make progress until there is an investment in human capital in such a way that you produce human beings who care for others. You produce human beings who are visionary, who have courage to speak truth to power. You have, human beings who are committed to very sound mind leadership. You know what I'm talking about? Leaders who are committed to mind leadership, whose thought, whose worldview is about how do we make things happen? How do we build? How do we transform? How do we add value? How do we make things better for other people? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, let me quickly, we're due for another break. But my biggest fear about this country, yes, is now, but the biggest one of my fear is now, what is happening, the kind of leadership and the governance in our nation of now. But the biggest of my fear is about the future.
Absolutely.
The generation, my own generation, the generation behind me, and that of my children. There is a disaster that is looming. And you look at the figures. Nigeria has over 70% of its population under the age of 35. How can leadership renewal genuinely include this demography beyond tokenism or token appointments and rhetoric?
Absolutely. So what I normally say is that young people are our greatest assets. So if you see young people as assets, whether it's businesses or public sector, if they see young people as assets, what do? You invest in assets, which means these young people must develop the right skills, 7-star skills, create institutions for these young people to, first of all, grow their passions and their giftings and their talent. So leadership starts from there, where young people are equipping them with 7-star, not 1-star skills acquisition. 7-star institutions. Go to Germany, go to Singapore, and find the type of institutions that are producing quality 7-star skills. We can export them, then groom them for enterprise, groom them for leadership, groom them for attitude, and groom them for the business of it.
Right. I'll pause you for a moment. But I'm worried because there is something I'd like you to talk on, which is destroying you today. Flash them a little naira and you will buy them over. But that question is going to be after this break. We need to take a break, everyone. We'll be right back. A closing moment with leadership consultant president of GOTNI. Well, GOTNI, a lot of people who might not know what that means, is the Guardians of the Nation International. There are a lot of leadership trainings and help and support they've given to institutions and nations. So that's what Linus Okorie and his team do. That's when we invite him, we'll talk about leadership on the program. Let's get back to the conversation with Mr. Linus Okorie. And here is what worries me, and the question I'd like to ask you. In an environment where politics is heavily monetized, how do you see ethical leadership competing with the realities of patronage and vote buying?
So the other day, I had an opportunity of delivering a paper at NIPS. And the key issue was leadership, mentorship, succession planning, right? And while I was having the conversation, I said, it is the responsibility of quality leaders to transfer and mentor and create a system of flow where there will be sustainability of sound leadership capital. But in a system like ours, where it's very difficult to find outstanding leaders who can make that happen, my thinking basically is that we must find those who have succeeded in business, those who have succeeded in different sectors of the economy, to take it as a priority to invest in the type of programs that GOTNI runs. What that means is that, in our local communities, it's important that we take this leadership development awareness to them, because when young people find themselves, there are a lot of young people in this country today who have found themselves and they have refused to collect the money from politicians. They have refused to do all of that. So you need to increase investment in quality knowledge, because when people understand what is at stake, the consequences of when they accept stomach infrastructure above the awareness of their great country.
Some people say still collect the stomach infrastructure, but still do what is right.
Whatever the case may be. But I'm telling you that there are a lot of young people in this country, even older people in this country, who are in generations ahead of us, who have literally said they would not be part of that. So what we're saying is that the more leaders we groom in our country, if we have a critical mass of young people who think differently, we have a critical mass of Nigerians who think differently.
When you do a lot of
this training,
you do a lot of these trainings every time. Are we seeing results?
Of course. If not the type of work people like us are doing, right, then this country would have been worse. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So what we're saying is that we are intervening the best way that we can, but what we're saying is that that's why the National Leadership Conference that we're putting together at the Transcorp Hilton at this point in time, yes.
When is that?
On the 5th and 6th of September.
Oh, it's just 3 days away.
Yes, next weekend, Friday and Saturday. I mean, business leaders who run businesses, corporations.
Does it come at a cost?
Absolutely. What we're saying is that those who want to grow their businesses to a sustainable level will take their top management and invite them.
Why didn't you hint me when I told you when I invited you to this program? You never said that you were having a training coming. But I think this is important. So very important. Is it only those who want to lead in business that can attend?
Those politicians who want to make a difference. Any politician that wants to make a difference, the theme of the conference is mindset transformation, inspiring for results. It is an optimization center, a refinery, where people come in, and by the time they leave the refinery, the hunger to be more, the hunger to transform, the hunger to build will rest upon them.
So if you are not in Abuja,
anywhere you are in the world, you can connect. You can be part of the conference. There's a virtual participation, just 100,000. You can participate virtually anywhere you are in the world. There's a physical participation for 500,000 for the 2 days in Transcorp and all of that, and then there's a 1 million for VVIP. So it's all rated in such a way that everybody will have a chance. Even there's a 200,000 naira ticket for those who can maintain that class. And we have leaders coming from all over the world, coming into Nigeria to interact. It's a learning system of some sort.
What I'm concerned about, because this kind of opportunity, when you're talking about this kind of thing, you pay millions to be able to talk about it on this program. But I am interested in grooming and baking the new set of leaders in this country. And I'm imagining that anyone who participate, who think institution will send people to go and attend this kind of thing, are preparing people. But in the real sense of it, if you are equipping, and this on the note, I would like us to close the program quickly. There is a big program of underemployment.
Yes.
It is not a problem of the fact that there are jobs, but there's a problem in getting the right people. There are graduates who are not fit for roles, even when those roles are. There is a major problem of capacity.
And that is why we have signed an MOU with NYSC that all over Nigeria, Godney Leadership Center will train those young people at no cost to them to build their competencies and capacities so that when they get into the marketplace, they'll bring value and they will get necessary jobs. We have also produced 25-year running Emerging Leaders Conference, even in November, 1,000 young people at no cost to them from all over the country. So we are doing those investments, and the business side of what we do is what funds the other non-profit side of what we do. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
So that's why anybody who wants to participate in this conference, just go to our website, literally, which is even on the screen, www.nlc.africa.
All right. Thank you, Linus.
And then you can participate.
Yeah. Thank you so much for delivering to us those nuggets that will make our nation better and for us to get the kind of leaders we want. Thank you. It's good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Appreciate my good friend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Seun Okimale. God bless Nigeria.